Hello from Beer Australia Reviews, and today I'm doing a sampling, a tasting and review, and also a comparison video of two NEIPA's New England IPAs. Now this is going to be an interesting one because now the two beers that I'm going to be doing are first off a commercial beer. Okay, now this one is from CoConspirators Brewery, which is from Brunswick in Melbourne in Victoria. And if you have a look at their website, this is a relatively new brewery. It's another one of these small, independently owned brew pubs. But this one evolved from home brew into a commercial brewery. So the people who are, do you call them the co-conspirators? It looks like it's two husband and wife teams who've joined together to do the brewery. So they used to do home brew. And they continued to do homebrew, made bigger batches, and eventually they decided to turn it into a commercial beer. So this is CoConspirators Brewery, and the beer that we're going to be looking at is so it's called the Matriarch NEIPA. So it's a tropical type of NEIPA. The usual sorts of hops, El Dorado, Mosaic, Citra, and the usual sorts of malts as you'd expect from a NEIPA. But we're going to be comparing this one with Chris's home brew. So Chris from Brewshed Project Maylands, there he is. That is actually a keg of a NEIPA that he's holding there. That was the previous batch on this one. Okay, so now I've got a little making of video, just a little quick thingy. Let me run that one now. Here are the grains. In this case it's a mix of barley, wheat and some oats, and that's mixed in the water. The water profile's already been done. So there's the wort that's been brewed up and boiled up. Next thing goes in some hops. There's a few different hop stages on this one, with it being a NEIPA. And then it goes into the fermenting vessel, and then the yeast is added and it goes into the fermenting oven. And then here's what everyone's been waiting for, the beer itself. Okay, so now let's get the beers out. Now, first off, we've got the can. So this is the CoConspirators, what do they call this one? Matriarch NEIPA. So it's got a picture of the mother-in-law on there, obviously. Don't tell the mother-in-law I said that one. Okay, so you might look like you've come on a big night out, but the Matriarch is much more than meets the eye. Mutton dressed up in lap, yeah, that's the mother-in-law. Okay, so tropical citrus, pineapple and stone fruit. Okay, so but that one is going to be compared with the Brewshed Project Maylands double IPA. So we've got this one in a keg, right? In this one. Now I'm not going to put too much of this in the glass because it has a tendency of exploding everywhere. But we now get like decent amounts. Okay, that's a good amount. Okay, we pour it. Hey, success. Now, okay, so that's Chris's Brewshed Project Mayland double IPA, and we did a discussion on this one. There is also a making of video that I've got in the pipeline. It's going to be edited soon. But if you have a look, there'll be a link down below to the recipe for this, and also to the discussion between myself and Chris, when Chris was actually making this beer, or so on the day. Now that one is going to be compared with this one. Let's pour this one out. Pour a similar amount. Yeah, different colours. This is much lighter in colour, but they look quite similar. There we go. Okay. Now I'm getting a comparison on these ones already. Okay, so so the reason why I'm doing a comparison on this one is obviously the CoConspirators, they used to be home brewers, and they've moved on to being a commercial one. Chris is not saying just a. Chris is a home brewer, but he's a home brew expert. His beers are absolutely excellent, and this is actually the beer that I rated as my number one beer in the whole of Australia in 2021. So if you go and have a look at my top 5 and bottom 3 Australian beers from 21, you'll see this one mentioned. But this is now the new batch. So, question is, Chris, is the new batch as good as the old batch? We will find out. Okay, let's let's get that out of the way. So let's do the usual. Let's give it a sniff. There's definitely some tropical fruits on this one. What's it say? It says it should be. It's a fresh hops and juicy number pineapple and stone fruit. There's a bit of pineapple in there. I can never get the stone fruits. Occasionally I can get like an apricot, but not much. Oh, hold on. Don't taste it yet. So Chris's one's the darker of the two. It's very different aroma. This one smells sweeter, a bit more floral. Okay, but I think this could also be the water profile that went into this one. So if you go back and have a look at the discussion where Chris goes through the recipe that he used to make this beer, and you'll see that there is, okay, let's say the water content was high in calcium, which he said is a good water profile for making an IPA beer. There was a lot of grain in it, as he said. It's barley, wheat, oats, and he put in some rice hulls as like a filter to stop the malted barley and the malted wheat from just turning into dough balls. So the rice hulls allow it to allow it to be like a smoother consistency. And also, what else went into this one? Yeah, also some oats. So the thing what gives a NEIPA its cloudiness is the oats that go into it. So it goes like a little bit of porridge. Now, so the hops on this one that Chris used, Centennial, Mosaic, Citra, Galaxy, and he put them in a couple of different stages. So he did some hopping into the mash when it was boiling, and also a bit of dry hopping on this one. So what he said was it should be smooth and creamy. This one should be about 7.2% and some tropical fruits. But I think I'm getting the calcium water profile on this one, Chris. But here goes. Let's compare them. That's quite sweet. It's quite malty. It doesn't have an abundance of fruit in that one. It's quite drying actually as well. Let's compare this one with the CoConspirators Matriarch NEIPA. Now this one is 6.5%. I'm getting more hop aroma from this one. That one's tangier, not as smooth. A bit drying as well. I think that's the Melbourne water. Now, I have had someone tell me that the water in Melbourne is better than the water in Perth. I haven't drank enough Melbourne water to be able to do a comparison, so I'll take your word for it. But the water in Perth is absolutely diabolically awful, which is why Chris spends so much time filtering the water and then putting a water profile in just to make the thing actually usable in a beer. So I don't know what the story is with CoConspirators from Brunswick in Melbourne. Don't know what the water quality is like from that region. So, but you can't. I'm not really getting the water too much on this one, but it has got that a little bit of a drying taste that Melbourne beers do have. But it's definitely got the tropical fruits in there. Tangy. This one's got a bit more sparkle in it, but this one's been in the keg for a few weeks, whereas this one was fresh canned. Like I don't know what the date was on this one, but this one is it's slightly different, obviously, the way it's presented, because one's in a can and one's from a homebrew keg. But we've still got plenty of sparkle on Chris's one, but it doesn't hit you with a big sparkle that jumps across the tongue, whereas the CoConspirators NEIPA does. But what Chris was going for was a smooth beer, and he's definitely got that. Okay, sweeter. Smoother. It's got that cold water taste in there now. It doesn't have an abundance of citrus. It's a malty beer, but Chris makes quality beers. Every single, apart from the mango. Please don't make mango beer. It's an affront to humanity. It's he always makes really good beers, and this is just another batch of it. But I'm going to say, Chris, I think your previous batch was better than this one, and I think it might be down to the water profile. So I preferred your 21 version to the 22 version. But like what Chris says, every time he makes a beer, he never makes the same recipe twice. He always wants to make something different. It's always going to be, it's never going to be exactly the same. He will always change the mix of the malts, change the mix of the hops as well. But I think I prefer your 21 version. But big question is, do I prefer either one of these beers over the other? No. This is going to be a high scoring draw because both of these beers are really good. Very different feel though, because this one, like I say, is tangy. Fruity, but drying on the mouth. This one is sweeter, a bit maltier, smoother. Different water. The water is very different. Smoother. So Chris's one definitely has a just a smoother taste. So if you see these CoConspirators NEIPAs, definitely give them a try. They were actually on offer at my local vintage sellers, like at $15 for 4. But Chris's NEIPA, double NEIPA, can't be bought at any price. I had to bribe him with a beer tour to get this. So you can't, money can't buy Chris's beer. No, but I've got a keg of beer in the fridge. So I think the takeaway on this one is homebrew is everything as good as a commercial product. If the homebrew is done to the standard what Chris does it, the amount of care he takes to do the beer, the amount of time he takes just stirring the thing up to make sure there's no dough balls in the mix and things, and making sure that the water profile is done, and then how scrupulous he is when it comes to sterilising absolutely everything. He spent like half an hour sterilising a couple of tubes and stuff whilst he was filling the keg on this one. If you spend that much time and put that much care in, and you put time and effort into the recipe that Chris does, the beer that you produce is going to be, well, it's over and above the mass market stuff by leaps and bounds, as is the CoConspirator stuff, because it's just, this is a craft beer. So the CoConspirators, they make this one to a quality. If they've been decent home brewers, which obviously I'm going to suggest that they are, then they've carried on with this one. They've made it on a commercial scale, and you can taste it. Both of these beers are really good. If you get to try the CoConspirators Matriarch NEIPA, give it a go. And if you're in Perth, give us a shout. You never know, you might get a chance to come around and have a sample of Chris's beer, but it can't be bought. Yeah, but he does accept bribes, I've noticed. Never mind. Okay, so thanks Chris for the beer, for the keg again, and equally as good as a commercial craft beer. So well done, Chris. In any case, thanks for watching.